Hey friends, welcome to another Lissa video. Today's video is going to be about how to talk to people if you get into a debate or an intense conversation about veganism or raw veganism, and how you can help them to understand a little bit more from your perspective. After attending a couple of Anonymous for the Voiceless Cubes of Truth, I really learned how to use questions and the Socratic method to help people to understand my perspective, my point of view, or why I'm vegan, and any other questions they might have surrounding the lifestyle. The thing is, when you are in a debate or a conversation with somebody, whoever's asking the questions is in control of the conversation, and you want to keep control of the conversation so it doesn't go off into crazy tangents where they are asking you the questions. You want to be asking them the questions, and I know that can sound a little opposite of what's going to be happening, because of course they're going to be asking questions, but you want them to critically think. So the best thing to do is to ask them a question back. And I'll just give a quick example right now. It would be if somebody asked you, well, where do you get your protein? Obviously, they're curious where you would get your protein as a vegan or a raw vegan. The best answer to give them is another question, like, where do you think I get my protein? Like, do you know where vegans get their protein? Or something like, did you know that vegetables are really high in protein? Something like that. Like, you want to form the question in a way that they will come up with the answer themselves. Other things that you can ask them would be, for example, why are you vegan? I would say something like, why do you think that I've chosen to be a vegan? What do you know about veganism? And let them answer me, because sometimes they have no idea, and then they actually genuinely ask you, actually, I don't even know why you would be vegan. There's a lot of fish out there in the water. So they want to know the actual answer instead of you just giving it to them. Sometimes if you just give them answers, they don't always listen to your answers, but it's more powerful if they come up with the answers themselves. So there's been many times where people ask me, why am I vegan? And I'll say, why do you think I'm vegan? Why do you think I choose that for myself? And then they're like, well, I don't know, maybe because you care about animals. And I say, yes, that's one of the reasons. Do you know any other ones that I might be vegan? So they can come up with those on their own, and then of course you can add more of your answer to them after, but you really want them to critically think. Something else you can say other than how does it make you feel, like if somebody says, I could never be vegan, you could say, well, how does it make you feel, the thought of being vegan? And then get them to open up and talk more about themselves and their knowledge, because then they feel like they're in control even though you are in control of the conversation. Something else to ask them would be, what would be your solution? So if somebody asked me, well, where do you get your calcium? I would say, what would be your solution if you were a vegan and you were looking for calcium? Then they really have to critically think. They have to really think about where they would get their calcium. So if they can get their calcium from greens or broccoli or something like that, then that's the answer. If they genuinely don't know, then you can give them the answer, but always follow up with a question, like, how does that make you feel? What do you think about that? Did you know that this, and this? Because then they are much more open to listening to your perspective. We want to make sure that we are not aggressive. We don't gang up on them. We don't ask them questions like, why aren't you vegan? Because then they can be a little bit more defensive on that subject. So you really have to choose your questions wisely, and it takes practice. Practice on your friends, practice at Cubes of Truth if you want, but make sure if you're going to do the Cubes of Truth to attend a couple and just listen to how other people approach the bystanders to talk about veganism. Because if you're just new to the Socratic method, it can be really daunting, because you might be like, oh, what kind of question should I ask? But like I said, it's just practice on yourself, in the mirror, questions that your friends have asked. This can really help you to hone in your skills at debate and conversations, and really help to get your perspective across to your friends and family. So I hope this video could help somebody out there. If you liked the video, please click like and subscribe to my channel to get notifications for more. You can find all of my recipe books right here, ebook style, on my website. You can also buy my books as print versions on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and search for my books. They're all up there. You can find me on Facebook, Lissa's Raw Food Romance, on Instagram at Raw Food Romance, and on Snapchat, Lissa Raw Vegan. Until the next video, guys, fruit on.